and welcome to Beer and Conversation with Pigweed and Crowhill. Good evening, Pigweed.
Good evening, Crowhill.
So what's on your mind today? Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I got something that fits right in with this because I don't know if you watch the news much, but if you do, you would have noticed very large aliens in backyards in Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas.
Yes. So
they were attracted by the lights.
Well, where else would you go if you want to go? If you're going to Earth and you want to party,
you want a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these two things coincided. First, there was something clearly falling from the sky.
Yeah.
Probably a meteor or a crashed, spaceship.
Those are the two options. Yeah.
Those are pretty much the only two options.
Okay.
Caught on camera on a police body cam.
Yeah.
Then there was a port. So remember, these two things are happening right after each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then there's a report by a family who saw something that was definitely not human hiding behind a swing set in their backyard somewhere between 8 and 10 feet. And, boom, there you go. Body cam, reporting, cops show up.
And the pictures, they got pictures of these creatures.
Well, they got, the strange light that's coming down from the thing. So,
So they got a picture of the strange light.
Yeah, strange light falling.
Strange light.
Clearly falling.
But they don't have a picture of the creature or the spaceship.
Well, there's he's probably behind a swing set, or maybe a shed.
Okay.
But he's so tall that it was very scary. The people sounded very sincere, clear, did not look like a prank. So, what are you asking for exactly?
I'm asking for some kind of evidence, like a picture or a body or a spaceship.
And guess what? But there was a camera on the roof of the building.
Yeah?
It wasn't working.
Boy,
because they were renting the place.
Now, everybody on the planet has a movie-making device in their pocket.
They do.
They do. Yeah. And they didn't think to turn it on.
No. Now, if there had been a fender bender in front of the house, and the two people were arguing with each other, we'd have 7 different views.
Yes,
of that.
We'd have. Yeah, I just saw today a little video of a guy and his dog watching the neighbors fight. Like.
Yeah.
It's like,
you can't do anything. You can't fight anybody in these days
without being filmed.
Yeah. But
if aliens land,
there's an explanation for this.
Okay, all right. But first, we got to get a beer. Okay, so this is my attempt at a summer beer, and it's hibiscus honey wheat.
So you came across the hibiscus, which gave you the idea for the beer.
Yeah, so I was at the
which is a flowered beer. I mean, a flowery plant.
It's something people use for herbal teas. So I was at this tea and herb festival thing, and I was looking around at the.
Did they have a beer tent?
On this year, they usually do.
Oh, jeez.
That's why I went. They usually.
You're like, honey,
tent.
You know where to find me. Enjoy yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You go look at all the other stuff. I'll be at the beer tent. This year they didn't. The rascals. But anyway,
he said, "All right, I'm going to turn your event into a beer."
Yes. So I went to this one table where they had all these herbs and things, and they had hibiscus. And I was thinking, hibiscus has a tart flavor, almost like cranberry.
Okay.
And that got me thinking of cranberry wheat beers.
Yeah.
And there was another table that had all this local honey. So I said, hibiscus honey wheat ale.
Just like that. There is a clear.
There's a bit of a tinge
so when you poured it, I thought it was a little bit dark, and then I realized, oh no, it's a little pinkish.
It's a little pinkish. That's from the hibiscus. Yeah. So it's very light. It's a very summery. I'm afraid you're not getting as much carbonation as I was getting at home. Right. But it's
when you
light and a little bit tart and very, very summery.
Very summery. Hot day kind of a beer.
Yeah. I think if I do this again, I might want to jack it up just a little bit more wheat to get a little bit more body to it.
Yeah. It's a little thin, a little watery, but
a little thin.
Yeah, but the first attempt.
It's a very, very nice summery tart wheat kind of a flavor.
Right.
Yep. All right.
So aliens, UFOs, and such. Now, when this was first proposed, I was like, I'm pretty sure we already did this, and we already poo-pooed this.
Yeah.
Then I went back and looked at it. We did alien abduction.
Yeah.
So that's not what we're talking about here.
No.
We're talking about...
And we've also talked about the Drake equation and all that kind
yes,
of stuff.
the likelihood of...
Yeah.
So... Yes, because that's a different thing. Is the likelihood that there's intelligence in the universe, but why have they not visited us?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think that that's such a big question. I think we're okay with the the 1 in a trillion, with trillions of options, that there would be life out there. Have we been visited? So
the big question is why suddenly it seems.
Suddenly, I would say in the last 2 or 3 years, this all right.
I'd say 2 or 3 months. All of a sudden, there have been a lot of things.
Well, that's true, but some of the evidence is from like 2017 and 2019 that's been declassified or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But you're right. You have the mainstream outlets
all of a sudden
who've never touched this kind of thing. Fox News, PBS, NPR, BBC.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's become
Congressman Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. So I understand. Maybe Tucker Carlson is a UFO believer, so he promotes it. Okay, but it's not just Tucker Carlson. We have senators saying we need to look into this, and we have military men. It used to be this is all a bunch of baloney. We don't believe it. It's all just air balloons or weather balloons or whatever. Now we have military people saying, yes, we have seen weird things that we don't understand. And
right, and so
why has this all of a sudden happened?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know why, but I know that it's given legitimacy to the UFO kooks. But I kind of get it. So there's the fact that the Defense Department. There are UFOs. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
That means that they're unidentified things.
Yeah.
Not UFOs in spaceships, but UFOs in the term.
Yeah.
They're unidentified, and it's behooves the Defense Department to identify as many of the unidentifiables as possible.
Oh shoot, that's a Chinese surveillance balloon.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that kind of thing.
So the having a department dedicated to that does not lend legitimacy to the existence of aliens living amongst us.
No, they have.
Right?
They have
That's a great idea.
Yeah, they have to be looking for things in the sky.
Did you see Men Who Stare at Goats, the movie?
Yes.
Right. So as ridiculous as that is, the idea that you can there's the Far Sight Institute that you can put yourself in a state, you can go somewhere else and see what's going on. You can control things with your mind.
Yeah.
If you get wind that the French and the Russians are working on these projects, and you poo-poo it, and it finds out they're onto something.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, that's
so it's
why we
ridiculous, but gosh.
Exactly. The military investigated. Like telepathy and all that.
Yes.
Because they were afraid that the Russians were doing it. And they were like, we don't want them to get an advantage, so we better investigate it too.
Right. As dumb as it is, I get it.
Yeah.
And so, same thing here, right?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, probably not, but guess what?
We don't want to get caught with our pants down. Because we have to war game every kind of crazy, stupid scenario that might occur.
Right.
And what if aliens came and were on Russia's side?
So what's the ARROW program?
Yeah, so All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office.
That is awkward. ARROW, but the acronym, maybe they just try to get something to fit the acronym.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
The acronym sounds cool.
And why is it all domain? Why isn't it just because like UFOs usually they're flying?
Well, no. So UFOs went to UAPs,
right? Unidentified aerial phenomena.
Yeah, which I don't know why you needed to do that, but then they said, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Now it's still the same acronym, but they changed the A.
Yeah, unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
Yes,
or something like
just
that.
in case.
Just in case, like it's going underwater.
Yeah, aerial, too limited.
Yeah, exactly. What if it's going through the middle of the Earth?
It's like a neutron that can pass through the middle of the Earth. So
what if it's in space?
For the purposes of the show, let's just go with the good old-fashioned UFO.
Yeah, I think UFO is easier.
All right, that's fine. So there's this group, and Congress has mandated a report, I guess, from these guys.
I guess, or yeah, and
I mean, I think those are the guys.
Apparently, they've heard behind the scenes, closed door reports from whistleblowers about reports that we have bodies of aliens and spaceships and all kinds of other things.
So they are, instead of just going, okay, kooky guy,
they're
actually listening to them, and because they're listening to them, then the media is recognizing that, and then it's filtering into the public consciousness that giving weight to ancient aliens hair guy.
Yeah. So we've got a few things that have come out recently that might justify why this is a big deal right now. One is those videos that show apparently airmen have been seeing weird things. And
so this is like the one off of San Diego.
Well, there's a lot of them. Apparently, it happens on the East Coast. It happens on the West Coast.
And then there's the Middle East. Then there was something from the Iraq War days or something.
Yeah. Apparently, pilots are seeing all kinds of crazy stuff that they can't explain, where things seem to be.
And you hear them react. They're like, "Whoa! Did you see that?
How did it all of a sudden go up?" And so they're seeing things that seem to defy normal laws of aviation, and so. We're getting that. We're getting reports.
But they're still the fuzziest, grainiest looking like that. They're not even as good as your 7-Eleven video. Why is it always so crappy?
Yeah, can't it be just a clear view of the Enterprise or something? I mean, come on, that'd be nice. So we have that side of it, which is we're getting these reports of pilots seeing this stuff. And then we have this whistleblower, David Grush, who came out and said, he knows because a friend of a friend of a friend told him.
That's so hard. So that's not how. Depending on which side you're on.
Yeah.
When you're hearing it from the ufologists, I mean, how do you get? What is that? Is that an actual job title?
Ufologist. I don't know.
He was in the Arrow program.
Yes.
So it's not the guy with the weird hair.
Yeah.
Just looking, And
he's not some nut. He's a credentialed, respectable fellow, like fought in the Iraq War or something like that. He's
high clearance.
Yeah.
A part of this program. You're like, oh, okay. So when you hear the ufologists going, we've got a guy on the inside who knows that we have alien craft.
Yeah.
And alien bodies. Blah, blah, blah. Once you dig into it a little bit, you're like, all right, he's talked to people.
Yeah.
Who have seen these
exactly.
things. Even his involvement in the program, his high level of credibility, he is not his trustworthiness.
Yeah.
His upstanding.
All those things are true, but still, when it comes down to what he's saying, did you see the ship? No, a friend saw the ship.
Yeah. Did you? I saw some documents. Where are those documents? Oh, they're part of national security. I can't reveal them. I showed them to congressmen, but I can't show you.
There's a body. Okay, where are the reports? Where's the medical reports? Where's the X-ray? Where's the So we have these things that are coming out. These eyewitness reports of weird things going on, and we have this whistleblower stuff about. A friend of a friend told me this.
Right. So there's millions of reports. When we did the other show, you showed a map of all the sightings, and there's like 80,000 in the United States, 20,000 in England, and the rest of the world is
not seeing them.
There's no dots anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like,
how come they don't go visit Ghana? I don't. Yeah. Why does that happen? Yeah.
But now they're saying, okay, it's happening more in other places.
And we do have video. And as you say, they're grainy, crappy video. And supposedly, these videos show craft doing things, weird things, like going through the air and then going underwater and then coming back
90-degree turns.
90-degree turns, suddenly flying up, straight up and down, other kinds of weird things.
Which is G-force that no human being could possibly tolerate.
Right. And so the question there is, one, are we actually seeing what we think we're seeing? Or is this some problem with the tracking, problem with the camera? Is it a special, special effects people can make all kinds of things happen make it look like something as crazy is going on. But then also, okay, fine. So you see something that you don't know what it is. That doesn't mean it's ET.
It doesn't mean it's ET. I think these sightings have been going on forever, especially since the 1951 or is that Roswell? 55, whatever.
Yeah.
What's lent the legitimacy? So which way does this go? The fact that Congress is insisting that the military give us a report who creates an agency, and all of this creates the legitimacy, or is the increased legitimacy what drives the need for which drives Congress and the military?
Mm-hmm.
So is it that the evidence is so much stronger than we've ever had that we really need to get a hold of this, or is that for some reason, and we'll discuss what that might be, Congress and the military think that this is important, therefore the legitimacy quotient goes up?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I had thought that we had evidence that we never had before. I thought based on some things that I'd seen and heard that all of a sudden we now have these like eyewitness accounts. We have video. We have actual stuff that shows crazy stuff going on. But as I dug a little bit more into it, apparently none of these videos are slam dunks.
Right, they're not. And how about Michael Shermer?
Yeah.
And he never mentioned this, but what he's talking about is the argument from authority.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can say, yes,
we've got astronauts.
Hillbilly the farmer
said
he saw something.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? This guy's a decorated war hero and a Navy pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he saw this.
Yes.
And he's just like, yeah, okay. But he's a human being with eyeballs.
And also he's experiencing extreme stress on his body. He might not have as much oxygen as Billy Joe the farmer had.
Right.
You know? So the idea that just because you're a naval aviator or an astronaut or whatever, that you therefore see better or perceive things better, that's not true.
Yeah. He was pretty good. I've been a Michael Shermer fan for many, many years now, and a fan of the Skeptic Society. So let me back up one second and tell a little story. When I came across these skeptics, I thought a skeptic was somebody who says to himself, I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with what you're saying to me right now, but for some reason I feel like that's BS. Mm-hmm. Right? Like it was just like
an attitude, a personality trait.
Yeah. Then come to find out, it's actually a profession. It's a discipline. You know, it's more than just a skeptical personality. There is a thing that, you know, like when I got into Carl Sagan and Michael Shermer and the Amazing Randy and all the whole skeptic community, and realized, oh, I see. These are people who are
trying to apply some rules.
Yes, and then I learned about the logical fallacies and a way of examining evidence. What did Shermer say? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Yeah, and that's a good statement. I like that statement. Yeah. The problem is there's no good way to define what's an extraordinary claim, because there's somewhat of an ideological component to what constitutes an. But I mean the general statement, yes.
Yeah.
If somebody says I saw a squirrel in my front yard, that's different than if somebody says I saw a unicorn in my front yard, right?
Right. Yeah. So, by and large, that statement works pretty good. So he goes through this, but what I like of it is how he sets it up like I'm not like a debunker sounds like somebody that is a person that doesn't want the thing to be true.
Yeah.
And he keeps saying, you have no idea how much
I would like this to be true.
Wait a minute. I can witness the greatest discovery in the history of mankind in my lifetime, bring it.
Yeah.
Please show me. But you're showing me nothing.
Yes.
And just by saying somebody's covering up something, so this arrow thing here, so the argument is that there's actually a shadow organization higher than Arrow that is only giving them limited information, so that when they come out, they're not, because this shadow organization, which is not part of the government but kind of is, and whatever, you know,
this is
this
is all such a deep state thing, you know. Okay.
Hey, don't discredit the deep state. It's real.
The senators can't get the information. There's like some group of people who have information that senators can't see.
Right.
So we have what we think is our government, the president and the senators and the congressmen and the Supreme Court. No, that's not really the government. The people who are really in charge are these other organizations that.
So they're not part of the government. So they're not. So they have access to everything the military has access to, but they're not funded by the government or part of the government or tell the government what they're doing.
Right. Who are these people? Yeah, it's pretty spooky. And this idea that there are these. That's one common thing in conspiracy theories, is that there's this shadow group, the Trilateral Commission, or the...
Right, so we asked the government, and they gave us all of the evidence, and they came up with nothing. Well, that's exactly what they want you to think, right?
That's what they want you to think.
Right?
Yeah. The secret bureaucracy in the Vatican, or whatever it is.
Yeah, the Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
Yeah,
There's
the
some
Bilderberg group.
There's some group out there who's hiding everything from you.
Secretly pulling the strings.
Now, one thing that I found very interesting was Elon Musk says he hasn't seen anything.
Okay.
He says, if somebody would know, you'd think I would, because he's been sending all these rocket ships out and everything. He's been doing a lot of space stuff.
And
he says he hasn't seen any evidence.
Right, and wouldn't space aliens interfere? Well, this is a good time. Sort of trying to figure out the motivation of an alien. That's almost like, why would an alien do? Like, well, I don't know. No, I kind of feel the same way. I don't want to bring God into this or offend God in any way, but in a way, yeah, like you're assuming that you know how God would, a supernatural being greater than all things in all of the universe, who created all of the universe.
Yeah. And you're going to tell me you know what he thinks.
Yes,
what he does.
God's mind would clearly be really okay. So on the flip side, though, is God's works in mysterious ways. Sounds like a little bit of a cop-out, but also, how would you know? Right. But it's also that, also back to what's the conundrum with God is all good. Maybe God's indifferent to humankind. Is it possible that there is we're getting off topic here, but yes, that there is a supernatural being responsible for everything who ain't all that interested in your day-to-day goings on.
That's the deist interpretation, which is just, sure, there had to be a God, but he just doesn't really care what that's going on.
I mean, you can pray all you want, but he's
off doing something else. That is a perspective, yes. So we have this problem of, there are all these reports. We have the guy with the 10-foot tall alien hiding behind his swing set. Right. And we have the aviators seeing these things. And we have reports of alien craft that are clearly not of human origin. I don't know how they know that.
But this is
supposedly they have bodies.
Right, all right, you're right. So let's go back. What's his name? Grush, yeah. So this is the guy I think who's really gotten the attention of the media. Yeah. Because he's not Hillbilly Jim. High level, 20 years in the military.
No offense to Hillbilly Jim, by the way.
Yeah, not that he doesn't have two eyes and can't see what he sees.
Yes.
Anyway, it's easy to dismiss Hillbilly Jim when we're talking about Grush, clearances, impeccable record. What does he have to gain? War veteran, medals, saying, but even with that, I've talked to people who have seen these things.
I know. So fine.
So you can't get them to. You guys can't go whistleblowing together.
Do you remember the whole scare about people waking up in hotels, like in the bathtub, in a tub full of ice, with a note that says
somebody's lost their organs.
Yeah, that we just stole your kidney and you need to call the hospital. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. I met someone who swore that she knew somebody that happened to.
She knew somebody.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen to her.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the sort of thing that happens in life. I know a person who said this. Okay.
I mean, the guy sounds legit.
Yes. And I don't think he's lying. I don't know. But I don't think he's lying. I think he's sincere. But that being sincere doesn't mean that you're right.
So
my friend was very sincere that her acquaintance.
So what about
these
people that he's talked to who are of even higher, who have a? He's only got a Title 10 clearance. How about these Title 50 clearance?
Well, that was that thing in that weird podcast you sent me. It's like, what is this? This Section 20 and Section 50 and Section whatever, and the senators only have Section 20 clearance, but the Aero people have Section 50 clearance, and like I don't know what.
No. The Section people only have 20s. The crash site recovery teams.
I see. Yeah.
They're at the 50 level, and they're the ones who are scooping up all of these. And what are we up to now? 12 to 15, I think some people have said.
Yeah.
Ships, plus with there are some body parts that.
And what is the motivation for hiding all this? That's one of the things that I don't quite get. Like, let's say that there really is evidence. Now,
well,
there's
the freak out factor.
Well, there's that, but I think the bigger reason would be if, let's say, an alien spacecraft crashed and the military collected the thing. Obviously, they wouldn't want to reverse engineer it and figure out how to do that, and they don't want China or Russia.
Apparently, they've been reverse engineering for 50 years, 80 years.
That's the idea. Yeah, but
no, we got nothing. You got nothing from that.
There's clearly reason to hide that kind of information from the perspective of military technology.
To use them to our advantage.
Yes, to use the military technology, to use the technology of these spacecraft so that China and Russia doesn't have it. Now, of course, there's also the possibility that aliens crashed in China or Russia and that they have their own that they're trying to reverse engineer.
All right, go ahead. I want to talk about all this crashing. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. But I understand secrecy from that point of view, that this is military technology that we want to make sure that we have control over. But where is the evidence of this crazy new technology? Do we have jets that are now, flying to the moon and back in 20 seconds?
Yeah. I mean, our technological advantage is 5%.
Yes.
On top of the Chinese.
Apparently, the Chinese and the Russians have hypersonic missiles that we don't have. So we're. We haven't gained any advantage by having this stuff for 80 years. Yeah, it doesn't seem very credible. Yeah, but anyway, let's get back to the
crashing.
Okay, so an alien spacecraft. We're postulating some civilization.
So let's talk about some distances
away, 100 light years away, or something.
Which is nothing. I mean, I don't even think the closest.
Alpha Centauri, I think, is the closest star. I think it's 4.5 light years.
The closest. What do they call that planet in the habitable zone?
Oh, okay.
The Goldilocks zone. It's like 175,000 light years. So they figured this out. They're not 175,000 years old when they get here, right? They have no problem traversing time and space.
Somehow they can travel all that distance.
And then they hit a tree. They're like, a tree, I didn't see that coming. And then they crash. I ran out of gas.
Yeah, they figure out all the technology to fly all that distance, and then they come here and they go, whoops, a
mountain!
I just crashed in somebody's backyard. It doesn't seem very
it's so right. And it's so remote. It's every time, all 12 times, it's so remote that nobody sees it except for the recovery team who gets out there, gets it, cleans up the mess, gets it to a secured location to study it and learn nothing from it.
No. all the locals who saw it they had the
Men in Black
thing, the forget ray thing.
Yes. Or they've been threatened or paid off or
killed or whatever it is. Exactly.
Every single time, because it's happening all the time.
Every single time. Yes. So the story just doesn't make sense. They came from light years away, and they just fly around and don't do anything.
Right, right. So obviously they're so far above us that they're just observing us. What are they going to learn from a bunch of dopes? Like, right? It's us going somewhere to see a bunch of Homo erectus and go, what can we learn from them?
Well, there is that perspective that these are people, like maybe they're humans from the future trying to come back and study humans in the past. Okay, I sort of get that. I still don't understand why they crash. And, but
that they might show some interest.
Yeah.
In that, but. It seems like they could
just
go.
Historians. They're historians from the future.
It'd be easy for them to be undetected. I'm sure that if you don't have a cloaking device, you can travel. If you travel faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
Yes, you've got a cloaking device, and if you want to observe and do, I don't know, for whatever reason. However, if you're here because this planet has some resources that you want, then you would just kill everybody and just take what you want.
Yeah,
it's like, you know what, my planet's running out of water. This looks like a pretty good spot, and we're going to terraform it to what we want, which is going to kill everything and everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. So the physics of the the Big Bang. We got to buy into the Big Bang for this, which means that the physics and the elements that are in the planet or in the universe are the same. It's not like there's another galaxy that has a different periodic table where physics works differently, right? So basically everything works the same.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I'm okay with the idea of them figuring out some sort of physics that we can't figure out.
Sure, of course.
Right? I mean, what's the line that there's at some point there's an advancement in science is indistinguishable from magic to the people who don't understand the science. So there's no reason that they couldn't figure out something like that.
Yes.
But just them go stumbling and bumbling around and walking around, hiding behind swing sets in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Just seems.
It seems a little inconsistent with that whole message there. So I guess there's another aspect to this which we haven't touched, which is why are people so eager to believe that there are aliens? Now, here, I'm a Star Trek fan. I've watched Star Trek my whole life. I love the idea of the Star Trek universe and traveling around and meeting other things and all. Okay, I love that idea. Doesn't mean it's true. Right?
Yeah.
So what is it that makes people want to believe that there are...
The latest numbers that I saw was 1/3 of Americans think that we have been or are regularly visited by... I mean, that's an enormous number.
It is a big number. It's a big number. And why is that? So one possible explanation is that aliens are a substitute for God.
All right, bring it. Come on.
Yeah. So apparently, I don't remember this very precisely, but I think I read an article that argued that the percentage of, if you take believers as a group and you take unbelievers as a group, the believers as a group are the percentage of them who see Mary or an angel or Jesus or something is about the same as the percentage of unbelievers who have alien abductions and close encounters of whatever kind of
So, or just general belief that this thing is going on.
Yeah. So that would argue that there is some percentage of just the population in general that is susceptible to some sort of
yes, there's a psychological component that is not rooted in any kind of evidence, and because there's an inclination, of human beings, right? A built-in the desire for something bigger.
Or let's
something
make it even simpler. Let's say that there are certain kinds of experiences. There's something that like triggers in your brain. There's some weird chemical thing. Something happens in your brain that makes you think you're experiencing some weird thing. And a religious person interprets that through a religious lens.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Mary, I'm seeing Jesus, I'm seeing an angel. And a non-religious person experiences that same phenomenon in a non-religious way. I'm seeing an alien, I'm seeing E.T., I'm seeing a spaceship.
And those numbers increase as they become more culturally available.
Yes.
Right? So you the non-religious person in 1900, I don't know what he was grasping at, but he certainly wasn't talking about aliens.
Yeah.
But in 1965, after we've sent a
man to the moon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
1970, we sent the man to the moon. You've got rockets, and you've got Roswell.
That's where their brain's going to go.
Yes. Now it's in the cultural milieu, and yes, when your brain is searching for that answer to make sense of the lights or the sensation or the dream or whatever, boom, it's got a place to go.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be what's going on. So,
but now we've got Congress and the military giving credence to it, and the news outlets previously poo-pooed the thing. So anyway, this report that Congress has mandated is supposed to be out by the end of July.
Okay,
and
so we'll have to say something about it.
In August we'll do an update.
Okay,
how's that
good
sound?
enough.
So
I think the bottom line, is wait until there's a body or a spaceship.
Please.
Because
I'm so tired of hearing, of course that's what they're going to tell you. They've got it hidden in this thing where nobody can see and the people won't let you. It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. Okay, one last thing. We got a minute here.
All right, let's go.
We got a mailbag from JR, our buddy
Oh.
JR. And he asks, when we drink a beer for the show, do we drink the whole six-pack?
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
We drink one beer.
But between the show prep and post-production, we're getting close to a six-pack, but not on the same beer.
Not on the same beer.
It'll be 6 different beers.
And not in
not in
the show.
One setting or during one conversation. one 35-minute conversation.
We're going to drink a whole six-pack of beer. That would be impressive.
Well, that
would be a goal.
That's a challenge there, Diego.
That's a challenge, JR. You just issued a challenge. We're going to...
Okay. All right. Okay. E.T.
Cheers.